It really all comes down to a pretty fundamental realization, doesn't it? That real motivation, the kind that actually makes habits stick, it isn't about willpower. It's not about grinding it out. It's all about how you frame the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want a behavior to happen, you have to find a way to make it genuinely attractive. That's the heart of it. If it feels like a chore, it's not going to last.
And I think most of us assume it's this big mental battle, a test of your character. But the biology behind it is much more mechanical. It's a dopamine-driven feedback loop.
Right. And here's the part that surprises people. What's driving us isn't the pleasure of the reward. It's the anticipation of the reward.
The wanting, not the liking.
Precisely. That's
Yeah.
the distinction neuroscientists have been looking at for decades.
Yeah.
And some of the early experiments on this were pretty stunning.
I think I know what you're referring to, the ones with the rats back in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. They started blocking dopamine receptors in the brains of lab rats.
And what happened?
Well, the results were just shocking. The rats, they didn't seem sick or hurt. They just lost the will to live. They stopped eating, stopped drinking, stopped mating. They had no desire for anything.
Right.
They would literally die of thirst with water right there in front of them.
But wait, I thought you said they could still feel pleasure. So if they were hungry, why wouldn't they go for, say, sugar water?
That's the real key. That's the whole insight. In other experiments, if scientists just put the sugar water directly into their mouths,
Okay.
the rats showed all the facial expressions of enjoyment. They liked the sugar just as much as before.
So the liking was still there, but the wanting
It was completely gone. Without dopamine, the entire desire engine was dead. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. It's the anticipation chemical. It's the craving.
Right, so it's the spike you get when you smell coffee brewing or see a notification pop up on your phone.
Yes, that's what gets us to move.
Mm.
Without that wanting, that craving, action just stops.
Which has huge implications. It means the high you feel right before you make a bet or just before you check your social media. That's chemically more powerful than whatever you find there.
Absolutely. Think about the brain itself. You have far more neural circuitry dedicated to wanting something than to liking it.
Really?
Yeah. The nucleus accumbens, a key part of the brain's reward center. 100% of it is activated during the craving, the wanting. But only about 10% is consistently active when you're actually, liking or enjoying the reward.
Wow. So our brains are literally wired to put 90% more effort into the chase than the catch. That explains so much, like why planning a vacation is often more exciting than the vacation itself.
We're built to pursue.
Mm.
But that pursuit engine runs into a huge problem in our world today. And that problem is something called supernormal stimuli.
Supernormal stimuli, it sounds intense. But I'm guessing this is why our good, healthy habits feel so boring by comparison.
That's a perfect way to put it. A supernormal stimulus is basically an exaggerated, heightened version of reality. It's a version that triggers a much stronger response than the real thing. It's a hack, really.
Can you give us an example? The classic one is with the herringulls.
Right. Nico Tinbergen's work. He saw that gull chicks peck at a little red spot on their mother's beak to get food. Simple cue. So he made a fake beak, just a cardboard stick with 3 big bright red dots on it.
And the chicks went for it?
They went ballistic for it. They pecked at the fake beak way more furiously than their own mothers. The rule is red dot equals food. So a supersized, super concentrated red dot sent their instincts into overdrive.
And it's not just birds. The gray-lag goose example is just as wild. They'll instinctively roll an egg back into their nest if it rolls out.
It's a survival instinct. But if you put a volleyball next to the nest...
Which is obviously not a goose egg.
Right. But it's a bigger, rounder version of an egg. The goose will ignore its own real egg and try with all its might to roll this giant volleyball back into the nest. The instinct, bigger round thing is higher priority, takes over.
That's fascinating. So we're running on these ancient, simple rules, but our environment now is just packed with these exaggerated versions of reality, which makes the normal, healthy stuff feel incredibly dull.
Exactly. We've built a world that is basically a giant field of supernormal stimuli. And that gets us to why applying good habits is so hard. The modern world has engineered temptation.
The most obvious one has to be food. I mean, our brains are wired to crave salt, sugar, and fat because they used to be so rare and valuable.
And that wiring hasn't changed one bit.
Right.
But our environment has. Those things are everywhere now, and they're hyper-concentrated. The food industry knows this inside and out.
They spend millions of dollars finding what they call the bliss point.
The bliss point. It's that perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that just lights up the brain's reward center like nothing else. It's designed to make you ignore the fact that you're full. An apple has sugar, but it also has fiber. You have to chew it. It has natural breaks.
A potato chip doesn't have any breaks?
Not at all. It's a dopamine jackpot. And it's not just the chemistry, it's the physical feeling. It's what they call orosensation, how it feels in your mouth.
You mean like the crunch?
The crunch, exactly.
Yeah.
The louder the crunch, the more your brain registers it as fresh and rewarding. And there's another concept called dynamic contrast.
Okay, what's that?
Think about an Oreo. You have the hard, crispy cookie on the outside.
And the soft, sweet cream on the inside.
That contrast keeps the brain interested. A plate of steamed broccoli is, pretty uniform. Your brain gets bored after a few bites and your desire drops. But food engineered with dynamic contrast keeps hitting you with novel sensations. It tells you to keep eating long after you should have stopped.
When you put it like that, it's no wonder people struggle. It's not a failure of willpower. It's our ancient brain up against temptations our ancestors never, ever had to deal with.
Right. We've just gotten way too good at pushing our own buttons. And it goes way beyond food. Social media gives you these concentrated little bursts of validation, the likes, that you'd never get so quickly or frequently in real life.
Or video games. They're a concentrated form of progress and reward compared to, learning a real-world skill, which is slow and often boring.
So the whole modern economy is making bad habits hyper-attractive. The question becomes, how do we fight back? How do we make the good habits just as attractive?
And this is where the strategy of temptation bundling comes in. This is the practical solution.
It's so simple and so effective. You link an action you want to do with an action you need to do.
I love the story of the engineering student, Ronan Byrne. It's just the perfect illustration of this.
It really is. So he wanted to watch Netflix, but he knew he needed to exercise. So what did he do? He physically hacked his stationary bike so it would only power his TV and stream Netflix if he was pedaling at a certain speed.
That's brilliant. So if he slowed down...
The show would pause. The only way to get the reward, the Netflix, was to do the hard work, the exercise. He turned exercise from a chore into a non-negotiable gateway to his entertainment.
I bet he started to look forward to getting on that bike.
That's the whole point. He associated the need with the immediate anticipation of the want. And businesses do this all the time. Think about the ABC TGIT Thank God It's Thursday campaign.
Oh, right.
They needed people to watch their shows. But they didn't just sell their shows. They bundled watching TV with all the things people already wanted to do on a Thursday night.
Relaxing, drinking wine, eating popcorn.
Exactly. They sold a whole ritual of relaxation and reward. Over time, the cue 8 p.m. on a Thursday became powerfully associated with this immediate feeling of comfort and gratification.
So the psychological rule behind this is something called Premack's principle.
That's right. It states that more probable behaviors will reinforce less probable behaviors. Basically, you use something you're very likely to do, like watching a show, to pull you through something you're not very likely to do, like cleaning your inbox.
So we can actually create a formula for this, a kind of two-step process for anyone listening. You combine temptation bundling with habit stacking.
Yep. The first formula sets the scene using habit stacking. After current habit, I will habit I need.
Okay, so that locks the difficult thing into your existing routine. And then the second step is the reward.
Formula 2. After habit I need, I will habit I want.
Let's do a concrete example. Let's say you want to start a gratitude practice, but you always forget. And what you really want to do first thing is read the news.
Okay, so step 1. After I pour my morning coffee, your current habit, I will say one thing I'm grateful for, the habit you need.
And then immediately, step 2. After I say what I'm grateful for, I will read the news, the habit you want. So the gratitude practice is now the price of admission for reading the news.
Perfect. Here's another one for exercise. Maybe you always find yourself mindlessly scrolling Facebook. Step 1. After I pull up my phone, current habit, I will do 10 burpees, habit I need.
And step 2, after I do 10 burpees, I will check Facebook, habit I want.
That's powerful. You're using the incredibly strong pull of social media to actually get you to do something physical.
And the goal over time is that you start to create a new positive anticipation. You'll actually start to look forward to the burpees, not because you love burpees, but because your brain knows it's the immediate trigger for the thing you crave. You're hijacking your own dopamine system for good.
So you're not fighting your brain's wiring anymore, you're using it. You're making the road to your favorite reward one straight through the difficult task. Because our brains, as we said, are all about the wanting, not the liking.
You're just redirecting that powerful engine of desire towards something that actually helps you. So as you go through your day today, maybe just notice how many of your actions, your clicks, your choices are being driven by these supernormal stimuli that other people have designed.
And then find just one thing you need to do and one thing you want to do. Bundle them together with that two-step formula and just see what happens. You can start redirecting that engine right now.